Hello there, I'm Riokaii. I'm a Masters slash Grandmasters Phoenix main slash one trick, and I'm here today to talk as a PSA about Phoenix's level 1 talents because it pains me inside whenever I see people go anything other than Sunless Energy, and I want to hopefully clear up some misconceptions, do some math, and make it very clear to everyone that watches this that Sunless Energy is by far the best pick on the level 1 talent tier, and not only just playstyle wise and the benefits it gives you, like sort of philosophically, but also just pure mathematically, it will output more damage at level 1, and it is by far the best level 1 talent to take. And in my opinion, the only viable level 1 talent to take. So, what are Phoenix's level 1 talents? First, here we have Advanced Targeting. This is the main painful one for me to see, and essentially, after it is stacked, the reward is that your Q circle will spin an additional time, netting you one additional tick of the Q. And also, for every Q hit that you are hitting on heroes, every two of them gives you one basic attack damage. And the other main talent I'm going to be talking about is Sunless Energy, which is after you hit a hero 3 times with Repeater Cannon without hitting them with a bomb in between. You will then charge up a bomb that deals 150% more damage and splashes in a 50% larger area. So, a couple of things to note about these talents. First, with Sunless Energy, the Repeater Cannon shots do not need to be consecutive. So you can hit a hero, then hit a minion, then hit a hero, then hit a hero, and you will get the empowered bomb attack, as long as you didn't attack any minions with a bomb in between. So the repeater attacks on heroes do not need to be consecutive, just needs to be 3 repeater hits on heroes. Secondly, the Q circle additional circle time. 99% of the time, this is going to be just one extra hit on your Q, but technically it could be more than that. There's some stutter stepping tricks you can do while going counterclockwise or very, very close in melee range that allow you to get more hits than just extra one off the Q, but they're not really reliable. I only ever do them on camps sometimes, and it's not consistent, and basically you can just think of this as getting one extra hit on your Q's damage. And then, of course, the basic auto attack damage. So, a lot of people see this 60 auto attack damage. Wow, that's so much, isn't it? Well, not really. So, I did some math. So, at level 1, these are all level 1 stats. A repeater shot does 86 damage. A bomb auto attack with no empowerment from Arsenal Synergy deals 108 damage. And with the Arsenal Synergy empowerment on it, deals 270 damage. So, if you take 270 minus 86, you get 184. So, because of the way that Arsenal Synergy works and the weapon switching works, you can do a trick. Saul made a video about it. I think it's pretty well known now that you can spend the bomb attack and do the bomb attack with the weapon switch, essentially completely in rhythm and in time and in sequence with a normal repeater shot, and lose no real auto attack like downtime for it. It's slightly different because the wind up for the bomb is longer than a repeater, just due to the nature of it. But you can essentially think of your auto attack sequences as 4 repeater shots always, and you're just getting a burst of damage on the 4th one. But you're essentially auto attacking at the speed of 4 repeater shots most of the time. It's very slightly slower than that, but it's not really that noticeable of difference. And the more consistent you get with doing the Arsenal Synergy, like switching at the correct time to not get the long delay on the bomb shot, which I can do probably 98% of the time or something, 95. And I'm pretty comfortable with it now that you can reliably think of it that way. So, essentially, if you're thinking about this as 4 repeater shots, you can think of this as dealing 86, 86, 86, 184. Or, well, 270, but you're dealing 184 extra damage on the Arsenal Synergy shot. This is extra damage above. This is 270 minus 86, essentially, is where this number comes from. So, repeater's base attack speed is 1.85. So, if I do 4 divided by 1.85, see here we get to do 4 full shots takes 2.16 seconds, roughly. Slightly different than that. I would say call it 2.5 seconds and you'll be fine, roughly. Now, the Q takes 1.5 seconds to do a full 360-degree rotation. So, depending on where they are in the circle, depending on where they are in relation to you rotation-wise or whatever, depending on which, how many degrees of rotation it has to do, you essentially either have a 3-second delay up to a 4.5-second delay on getting the extra damage from your Q. Now, your Q at level 1 deals 140 damage, so you have a 3-second delay, if not more than that, on 140 damage, where you have a 2.16 second delay on 184 damage. You can also think of this, if you divide 184, which is the extra damage that you're getting, spread across 4 auto attacks, that's 46 damage per auto attack. This is from level 1, so this is before you have any stacks on Q. You would need to hit heroes 90 times, actually 94 times, in order to equalize the damage on autos that you get from Sunless Energy versus the level 1 target acquired quest. Now, is it target acquired? Advanced targeting, sorry. Target acquired is level 4. Got confused there. Now, the Q damage is 140 damage, but you'll note that Q has a 12-second cooldown. And so Arsenal Synergy essentially has a 2.16 second cooldown. So you are getting this 184 damage every 2.16 seconds. Whereas this you are getting 140 damage every 12 seconds. If you want to assume that you have the level 7 talent and that they're slowed, you can assume that you're getting 189 damage. And it's still much, much, much more in favor of Arsenal Synergy, because this, you can essentially get 6 Arsenal Synergy procs per Q cycle. That is not exactly true for all of the game, but the problem is, again, that this talent has to be stacked up to dealing 46 damage per auto, whereas Arsenal Synergy, you get it immediately. So you are gimping yourself until you stack it up significantly beyond the 30 mark, even, for it to even equalize with Arsenal Synergy, and then even then it does not. Now, Arsenal Synergy also, in addition from being there at level 1, it splashes. So while Q you can hit on multiple people, you can also splash your bomb on multiple people. And in my opinion, splashing the bomb on multiple people with the splash radius increase is much, 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 much more easy to do than hitting more extra people with your Q. Not only do you need to stay in the fight longer, so if you're only fighting for, say, between 2 and 4 seconds, it's a lot harder to be in position to hit everybody with your Q that whole time. You're going to be, if you're relying on that to get all your damage out, you're going to be very predictable in where you're going to be based on how the Q works, because everybody can see your Q and they can see who it's going to be hit by the Q, and so they can see that, oh, you're going to be standing there for the next 2 seconds because you want to get that extra Q hit, and they'll be able to jump on you, throw skill shots at you or whatever, and you won't be able to dodge very well. Arsenal Synergy, you can move around, stutter step, play on the flanks of fights, and you'll be totally fine. The radius increase essentially works as a range increase. So you can hit backline, you can hit tanks, and then splash the backline and chunk the backline very hard. Hit backline that you would never be able to hit with a Q. Not in your wildest dreams. Now, Q is technically longer range than repeater shots. I believe Q is 6 range, repeater shots are 4.5. I don't remember off the top of my head. Maybe 5. But they're close enough to be roughly equal, where if you're in range to Q, you're generally in range to auto attack. And so if you're in range to Q, you might as well be auto attacking. And if you're auto attacking, you're going to get much, much, much more value out of Arsenal Synergy than you will out of advanced targeting. So, those are all my reasonings of why Arsenal Synergy is better. The one caveat to this is, if you are going a full-on mage build, which is essentially taking advanced targeting at level 1, you are almost locked into taking Arsenal Overcharge at 16, and then secondary fire at level 20. This is technically viable, and the math for it kind of is supportive to it, but Arsenal Synergy works pretty much regardless, and you're not going to lock yourself into all these talents, because there's a lot of times where, especially in right now where we have kind of a double frontline meta, where you have generally one tank and then either a bruiser or an off tank or something. Usually the offlaner is the off tank. Of super high health pool tanks of like Diablo, Muradin, you've got Stitches, things like that, where you want to take offensive cadence as your 16 talent a decent percentage of the time, if not photonic weaponry to combo with like lightning breath or earthquake or whatever, so that your salvo and or planet cracker deal significantly more damage in a wombo combo. So these 2 other 16 talents are very, very good, that you don't want to lock yourself into taking Arsenal Overcharge. Notably, Arsenal Overcharge did essentially get buffed when Salvo got nerfed to 90-second cooldown, because it's less likely that Salvo is going to be up for every fight, and so you want the cooldown reduction more so. So yeah, you would go advanced targeting, you would go combat advantage, you would go Arsenal Overcharge, and then secondary fire. The only other relevant time where advanced targeting comes into play is PvE damage. So this is base attack damage that increases, whereas Arsenal Synergy essentially only increases your damage against heroes. So if you are racing on BoE, for example, advanced targeting is technically viable, but it's not that great because it has to stack up, and you have to hit a lot of heroes with Qs in order for it to stack up. And if you're wanting to be racing and winning the race on BoE, you generally don't want to do this. If you're playing BoE, I still recommend taking Arsenal Synergy. And then if you really need to win race, divert power weapons is viable. You have to know how to be safe when you pop this, but this does help your race pretty significantly. So yeah, I talk about that in my Fenix write up. That's like 6 pages long now or whatever. But yeah, hopefully I go over that for people. Hopefully they understand Arsenal Synergy much better. Um, yeah, please stop taking this talent so I can sleep at night. Thank you.